Welcome to our Biz Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Cuthbert, Creative Director at Baker Creative. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please hit subscribe so you can get notified when new content comes out. Please share this with anyone who could be inspired by it. Edwaard Liang is the Artistic Director of BalletMet, a position he accepted in 2013. Also an award-winning choreographer whose works have been performed worldwide, Liang received an Emmy Award for Vaulted, a short dance film, and was honored by the National Choreographic Competition. He was born in Taiwan and grew up in California, where he began studying dance at the age of 5. As a dancer, Liang was a member of the New York City Ballet and the Broadway cast of Foss and the Netherlands Dance Theater. Welcome, Edward.
Hi, Edward. Thanks so much for joining us on our podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, it's very excited. So give us some insight on how you got started in dance to begin with.
I started dance when I moved to California with my family, and my parents were both extremely supportive on having my sister and I try everything. So we did horseback riding, piano lessons, but what really stuck was ballet and dance of all kinds and martial arts. And I started when I was 5 years old. There was about 4 to 5 years where my sister and I did martial arts competitively, and we were really intensely immersed in that, but we still took ballet every day.
Was there a point where you're just like, after doing all those exciting things that you're kind of like, you really wanted to pursue dance? What was that point?
That point was when I decided, and I got my parents' permission to go to New York and do the summer intensive for School of American Ballet. And, this was in the late 80s. So they didn't have dormitories. My sister and I flew to New York City. She was my chaperone for a little bit. And it was amazing. I was able to be together with a large number of young aspiring artists that had the same passion. And it kind of cued me in that this could be a possibility for potentially a career, or just, seeing how it would be if it was more intensive.
Was there something that influenced you, overall classic versus, street dance, or was there something that really kind of caught your eye that inspired you at that point?
At that point, it was really about classical ballet. Back then there wasn't YouTube. So I tried to get as many VHS videotapes as possible on different stars that I looked up to: Baryshnikov, Nureyev, Gelsey Kirkland, ABT, New York City Ballet, Bolshoi, anything that I could get my hands on, Roland Petit, to more contemporary, modern, choreographers at that time. So that was really kind of what I gravitated to.
Once you got into dance, was there something about dance that surprised you that you didn't expect?
What really surprised me about dance, and it still surprises me about dance, is that, and it sounds very soapboxy, but I really believe that it's the ultimate communicator. It's not about a particular language. I mean, dance has its own language and narrative, but you don't have to speak a certain language to understand dance. As human beings, we read body language immediately without even truly understanding what type of dialogue this is. You don't have to be a body language expert. You can read it just by being human. And also, once we play music, it is just in our nature to be rhythmical with it, to tap our feet, to move and sway to the music. And it is always surprising to me and I'm always delighted to see this, especially when you're dealing with a lot of young artists and young kids in the audience. And whether it's a BalletMet lecture demonstration or our Nutcracker performance, or what we just finished, Dorothy and the Prince of Oz, where we had a huge amount of families and ballets that are really about access points for our community.
Do you feel like the dancers of today have to be more versatile than in the past because of all the variety of dance and
I believe so. And, the thing that I love that dance is ever changing and evolving is that, you know, dancers now are not just required, but asked. And I think that dancers love this is they have the access to such a wide range of dance. No longer is there such barriers between modern, contemporary, neoclassical, and classical ballet, or hip hop, or different genres of dance. It's these different disciplines are kind of collaborating and being finding new opportunities to voice itself.
when should students start to take dance seriously? What is that point?
It's different for everybody's journey. There are some people that start very young, like myself. We offer movement classes to age 3 starting, so it's pretty early. We generally don't like women or young men to start point and up until a certain age. But in terms of seriousness, that really depends on the individual and how they feel. Some have a very interesting journey. For instance, there's a company member at BalletMet, and she was really, I guess, serious, but then decided that she wanted to go to university. She went to university, she graduated, and she decided that she would like to pursue a professional career. And that's already in her early 20s. And some people make the decision like I did when I was 12, 13 years old. So everyone's really different. Some people are already serious from day one.
Yeah, I totally can relate to that because when I was a child, I always loved drawing and, I just always was very attracted to that. And you just feel like that's kind of your home, right? I mean, when you're young and
Right.
and there's just no way to really describe that. And it's okay if people decide later, but I always felt like I had that direction. I don't know why. It's just kind of like a calling, maybe.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of parents are very excited that their child is interested in dance, gymnastics, something, because they're exactly what you said. There is a focus point. There is something that keeps them interested, engaged in the world and themselves. Something that I just absolutely love about aspiring dancers is that they have such inner awareness and outer awareness. They are so attuned to the room that they inhabit. They are so attuned to their body and body language.
With so much hectic and so much busy in the world, how do you see the role of dance in someone's life?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that it's, at least in my experience, dance has been a part of my life since I remember. And the positive things that I've seen, not only in terms of an ex-professional dancer or somebody that loves to take classes or somebody likes to take movement classes of all different types, is that it really syncs us up as mind, body, and soul. And that I truly believe that that type of connection, whether it's yoga or ballet or hip hop or modern, or even just being able to do an exercise class to music, it's really being able to connect with your body and your mind and something else that we don't particularly understand just yet.
And I think sometimes people see dances for such young people, but dance is all your whole life. So, what are some opportunities for people at all kinds of different ages that could participate in dance?
Well, I mean, I think at least in Columbus, Ohio, what is amazing about the city is that not only within the arts, but there's always something to do. And you, if you want to do it all, you can. You're just going to be very busy. Um, there are ballroom classes. There is, of course, many dance studios that offer, including BalletMet Dance Academy, um, ballet, tap, modern, jazz. We have adult classes. There's different bar method where people are taking these exercise classes that are based on the ballet class and bar. Uh, it's pretty amazing, and it's also pretty amazing to see where there are different hybrids at gyms to dance studios where they offer a wide variety, and it's really about not one particular way. What's wonderful about dance is also about your mood, what you're in the mood for this month or this week or today. So you can have access to a lot. Um, I always believe and say that people that come to see our productions, our main company productions, that it's a quick sort of airplane or travel around the world, especially our mixed bills, where you have many choreographers with different voices from all over the world. So it's a wonderful variety that people can have.
Can you give some insight on what the Ballet Met 2 is in its role?
Yes. I created BalletMet 2 as a way, two different ways, very much similar to how your company helps many different companies, is about talent acquisition and talent retention. And it may sound a little business-like or a little uh, straight to the point, but basically it really is rebranding something that we had before. We had a program that was pre-professional, but people didn't really understand what that meant. And BalletMet 2 is a ladder between the academy and the company. So with just rebranding a second company, we're able to get national and now international top picks to come to Columbus. And with that, they're still a part of the academy. They are aspiring students, but it's one step closer, and they perform with the company. They take class with the company. Outside of that responsibility, they also have their own repertoire, meaning they go out on lecture demonstrations where they are performing in schools, middle schools, sometimes Arts Fest, to retirement homes, you name it. Our motto and I guess, our mission and vision for the whole organization is bring world-class dance to Columbus and beyond. So in every corner of Columbus, we're willing to perform.
So then what are the roles for people once they can no longer dance when they're a professional dancer?
When they are no longer a professional dancer, well, a lot of our dancers are continuing their education throughout their career. So I've been in many companies around the world, and I find that dancers tend to be very curious and bright and ambitious and go-getters. So there's a lot of dancers that are doctors, lawyers, architects, to dental assistants, to dentists, to people that are entrepreneurs. I know that one of my friends retired, and they decided to create an upcoming ballet new shoe line. Some people retire and make leotards. Some people retire and become fashion designers. It's really astounding how dancers understand how limited and how quick this career is, and that they know that there's another journey ahead of them. So most of them are very well prepped. And then some people decide to continue in this industry, whether it's being a teacher, a rehearsal director within a company setting, an artistic director, a choreographer, dance photography. There's a lot of different areas. And there's quite a few that decide to take on the business role of arts administration, whether it's development director, marketing, or even executive director.
That sounds cool. So then I understand we're talking about brands, right? And how has it shifted for you to connect better with audiences when you are in front of that curtain before a performance? How has that enhanced that?
It's a very interesting question that you asked, because the companies that I come from, New York City Ballet, San Francisco Ballet, Netherlands Dance Theater, other companies I've choreographed for, they don't do front of the curtain speeches, only rarely. And when they do, it's usually some sort of toast or celebration or a gala. What was a big sort of aha moment for me was that it was a perfect way to be able to do two things. One, truly be able to invite our community, our audience into the theater and welcome them. The second thing is just a brief talk about what they might be seeing, really thanking our community in terms of focusing on the fact that Columbus, Ohio believes in arts and humanity, and that is a city that we all strive to be a part of. And then the third thing and most important thing is that whether it's in a more obscure production or Nutcracker, which is very traditional and a part of the Columbus tradition, is that you don't have to understand ballet to enjoy it. People are very intimidated by the arts, and I want them to feel free to enjoy it, to clap. It doesn't have to be the right time. It can be any time they want to. You don't have to have a pedigree. You don't have to have a master's in arts and science to enjoy it. Dance truly is for everybody, and storytelling, whether it is a narrative or it is a non-story ballet, is still a story that invokes emotion. For instance, if you go and see a painting or a sculpture in a museum or a gallery, one of the beautiful things about visual arts is it truly asks you to find your own way through this experience of art. And I want to show the audience that's come to see dance, it can be exactly the same way.
That's awesome. We totally believe in the same thing. It's that customer experience, that exploration, having them fill in the blank to finish the sentence.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that all of us as human beings, because the experience is such a buzzword for the past couple of years, but it truly is an experience that you can find yourself in, whether an institution, whether a film, a piece of art, opera, to just even spoken word, or anything that invokes the human nature, which that's what art is.
Mm-hmm.
It is ultimately, I believe, what we all want, which is a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm. An expression of that belonging as well. So, being the dancer that you were, what made you transition into choreography?
It was by a dare. I dancing in Europe, and one of the choreographers at the time saw that I had a lot of ideas. So they dared me to make my own piece. And luckily I did. And I absolutely just fell in love with the experience. I had 4 days to make a duet, and I got to pick a piece of music that I loved listening to. And what kind of kicked everything even off as a choreography career is they filmed it, and by happenstance, somebody saw a video of my parada and gave me my first shot at a program in New York City. And I got a good review and in the New York Times, and then it started just kind of moving forward.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was very, very lucky. There's many, many choreographers that have been trying to break into this business or this area for years. And I was very grateful that my transition from dancer to choreographer was so smooth.
Well, obviously they saw something that was special.
I'm very lucky and grateful that they saw something.
So when you guys are looking at the season, how do you strike the balance between new work and traditional work?
It's a really interesting thing in terms of programming for the organization and for the academy. I Nutcracker will always be a part of our programming. Where Nutcracker goes is where BalletMet goes. But beyond that, I usually like to have 2 additional full lengths that are great access points for my community to engage in dance. So usually Nutcracker is potentially a first touch point. And then I'd like 1 or 2 for them to look at the season and say, oh, I love the Nutcracker, or I loved this, or heard about this. Let me try this. And I love to do productions, at least 2 other ones in the season. We usually do 6 programs a year that are not only family friendly, but it's more about inviting and having a better access point for the whole community to come and engage with BalletMet. And then once, hopefully, we can bring them on a journey, and then hopefully they decide to try one of our mixed reps or a little bit more of an obscure full-length ballet. And that way, we're able to give them a huge variety of dance. And that's really the motto of our programming, is to be able to bring world-class dance. And what does world-class dance mean? It means the best choreographers out there that usually cities that are our size don't get to see. So I work really hard to bring choreographers and dancers of note to Columbus, because I think our city deserves it. And our city is very, very astute on what great art and dance is. So that's how I try to kind of balance everything out. And it is also a strategy where this type of repertoire and this type of programming attracts the best dancers internationally and nationally. So then again, the city, it's very much one feeds another.
So when it's all said and done, what kind of legacy would you like to leave personally?
Oh my gosh. I've never really thought about that. I've always thought about what some of our impact, and once we have, I guess, not reached some of it, I'm always looking on to see the next plateau that we can. But my job, I look at it like this, is I am leading a team, leading an organization, but truthfully, I'm one of many people of a large and long relay race. And so my legacy, I believe, is creating a culture where people understand the power of dance and that they understand that BalletMet is here to stay in Columbus. We're 45 years strong, and we're looking at the next 45. And I believe that that is the conversation that I like to have constantly and continue for people in Columbus and BalletMet to have, because it's very powerful in this role to see the impact that you can have in such a wide variety of demographics of age and areas.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful legacy. Well, I appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, and thank you for educating us on the direction of the BalletMet.
Thank you, Michelle. And I really look forward to seeing you at the theater, but also I love and appreciate everything that you're doing for your clients and making this city better and better and better.
Oh, thank you so much.
If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please hit subscribe so you can get notified when new content comes out. Please share this with anyone who could be inspired by it, and feel free to post any questions so we can be inspired by new content. Thanks for listening. If you're interested in learning more, visit our website at bakercreative.co.